If you have adolescents, 8th grade, story of a 13-year-old young woman who deals with a wave of adolescence adversity on how she makes her way through that struggle in middle school. And then final two, The Dawn Wall, for those of you who want a tale or a story of resiliency. This was a documentary film that follows the rock climbers Tommy Caldwell and Kevin Jorgensen as they, over a 19-day period, successfully reach the pinnacle of El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. Very powerful, and right here in town, and it was nice to see so many people, not just from our town, but who've come into Greenwich, who enjoyed the festival, but then supported our businesses and restaurants and things. It really was a beautiful sight to see. One of the other final elements I'll share with you is that I was asked to be a judge for the Connecticut Shorts program, and these are anywhere from a half hour to as little as 6 minutes, and there were 6 films, all dealing with some element of a contemporary issue. And we had to come to a unanimous consensus on which film should get the notoriety. Our 3 agreed on The Hamamis, which is a look at struggles of a Syrian refugee family and the new hope they found after settling in the U.S., while it also touched on the contentious national dialogue surrounding the entrance of Syrian refugees into the United States. I'm hopeful that we can get approval to actually show this film in a public forum so that our Diversity Advisory Committee is looking to do a program in the fall on what they term Islamophobia. As many people may know, there are a number of houses of worship who have sponsored refugee families here in Greenwich. They're very much an integral part of our community, and I'm hopeful that we can perhaps show this movie and have a panel discussion to really make an impact as to how much these people contribute to society. And that's what this movie was basically saying. And if either of you want to see that, I'll send you the link. You could look at all of them, but very powerful. Powerful. In addition, not to shortchange them, but the Greenwich Concourse also was taking place simultaneously, and that brought a lot of notoriety in town. They had a program at the library on Friday evening looking at the biography of Briggs Cunningham. And I did not know this, but Briggs Cunningham is the grandfather of the former State Senator John McKinney. So I saw John, he said, well, this was my grandfather. And there was quite a discussion on his life and contributions to automobiles and so forth. In addition to that, there was another issue that is very important and prominent in the community, and that is our BYO, Bring Your Own Bag. This is something that the RTM did approve after the Selectmen advanced it, and I was pleased to attend in Bridgeport at the Discovery Museum a recognition for the town for being a climate champion. And specific to this initiative, the program was Tuesday, June 5th, and it was put on in concert with not only the Discovery Museum, but an organization, Barbara, I'm looking for the name of it, New Haven. It was based out of New Haven, the Greater New Haven Clean Cities Coalition. And what this program did was accentuate various initiatives in several communities. And one community there was recognized, Wilton's, for reducing the amount of food waste that is occurring in our schools. And I know that in Greenwich, there's a group working to do just the same, because it's not just the materials in which the food is presented on, it's actually the food itself being discarded and so forth. So a lot of good things happening, all citizen-driven. Hats off to Janine Bear-Getz, who was one of the principals who led that initiative locally, as well as the other folks. And I expect we'll be seeing other issues brought forth for our consideration. On June 9th, I was in attendance at an organization, 12th annual meeting of the Global Organization of People of Indian Origin. I was joined there by several of our elected officials, Jim Himes, several state folks as Mayor Rilling, Mayor Martin, and a couple of candidates of Indian origin right here from Greenwich, both Dita Bhargava and Harry Aurora. And really it was a celebration of the advancement of a number of notable citizens of Indian origin, as well as students. And there's a young lady there who is from Greenwich who has also received acknowledgement scholarship. And this was their 12th year. Very meaningful for that group that people come and celebrate. So I was very pleased. We had the topping off ceremony at Lebanon School. Pleased to see that it is on time and within budget. Look forward to, all of us, I think, look forward to entering that school in January and see the kids in the classroom. PTAC had its annual dinner earlier this week. It's typically an opportunity to say thanks to all of the wonderful volunteers who commit time to the schools through the PTA. And Karen Hirsch will be continuing as the president into her second year, but we're thankful for what they do. Yesterday, we had the Flag Day ceremony at Glenville School. Wonderful opportunity to be back at a place that I attended, and was there last night to attend the Board of Education meeting. I was asked to say a few words for Dr. Jill Gilday, and I think we all share the sentiments in wishing her well. Certainly a gifted educator, someone who's passionate about advancing young people, and we wish her well. We're sorry that her tenure was so short. Finally, two things. Going back to the environment, Jay Domachek, our fleet manager, received acknowledgement that the town has once again qualified to be a NAFA accredited sustainable fleet. There is a scoring system. We have now scored 97 points out of a max of 125 and earned the 4th and highest tier of accreditation.
NAFA is what?
Let's see here, National Association of Fleet. National Association of Fleet. I don't know what the last day is for. Okay. But this is something that he's worked toward. It was one of his goals. And, you know, they measure their performance against others. And one of the points of this is that this is only beneficial if you have a broad participation. Because if you're one of two, you know, what's the value? But if you're one of 1,000, you have a larger metric to measure yourself against. So I just want to acknowledge Jay, because this is something that he's been moving toward. And I know we've got several natural gas vehicles, propane. And then finally, this is something I think that all of us can be pleased about. In a quick story, the other night, I think I was at the PTAC dinner, and I got a text from somebody, why is there an ambulance at Town Hall? Well, gee, I don't know, I wasn't here. And so I found out that they responded to a call for an individual who was having chest pain. Find out later that the gentleman was from Miami, Florida, and just happened to be walking by and had chest pain, came in the building, and they followed the protocols, and he was transported. But it ties nicely into that Greenwich received from the state Department of Public Health acknowledgement again that we are a heart-safe community. This is a 3-year designation, which is effective June 11th, and recognizes Greenwich's continued commitment to provide improved cardiac response and care to the residents, utilizing the chain of survival. of early 911 access, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, defibrillation, and advanced care. So it just so happened this came on the 11th, and that happened, and I thought it was somewhat fortuitous, and for that, we're very thankful. You can never put a price on any life, and thank you, GEMS and police, for your efforts. Finally, what's coming up, we received a letter on the 15th that the Independence Day Association is holding their annual 4th of July celebration. It's on Wednesday, July 4th at 9 a.m. In Town Hall here. This is participatory of the Putnam Hill Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, the Mary Bush Children of the American Revolution, the Captain Matthew Meade Branch Sons of the American Revolution, Arch Street Teen Center, Boys and Girls Club of Greenwich, Boys and Girls Scouts, and the Greenwich Explorers all participate from the public and private schools. So a central focus of this year's program is to introduce descendants of Greenwich's early settlers, Revolutionary War patriots, and salute current and past members of the armed forces. So again, that's on the 4th at 9. That concludes the updates. In terms of business, we have no old business today. Under new business, we have a request for road closure specifically to allow for repaving. This comes to us from Kovacs Construction. Kovacs was involved in the work by Aquarian Water Company on Anderson Road as you come from East Elm in Mallard in the vicinity of the Julian Curtis School. This is the very final piece of that, and with us today we have Ms. Wanda McGarry.
Hi, thank you. So this is the last punch list item. We just have to do repaving. There's temporary patching there right now. So literally on Monday, the 25th, we'd like to shut the road down. They're gonna mill the road, and as soon as they're finished, we'll reopen it. And then the next day, we're gonna pave, and we'll close the road while they pave, and when they're finished, we'll reopen the road. If there's any issues, I had asked for till Wednesday, just in case there was any issues. But we're gonna reopen it at night. So just close during the day. And we waited until the schools were out. My understanding, they're out the week before. And that would be the end of Anderson Road Pump Station. Woo-hoo, 2 years later.
Thank you. It looks nice. I mean, it looks nice. So, any questions?
No.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Without objection, thank you for coming
Thank you
today
very
for
much,
this.
and happy Father's Day to you
Thanks.
all.
Thank you. Okay, appointments, nominations. John, do you have anything?
No, but one thing, is the Shellfish Commission, that's something that we do strictly by ourselves? Doesn't go to the RTM, shall we just get those people? That group, or people that are on it and are looking to re-up?
That the entire commission is for this, is that?
No, there's,
On my sheet, Sue Baker is on it. Yeah, there's more. I don't have that folder. You could.
Got something on shelf.
well, no, they don't put it on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not on here.
They don't do it?
It's not on here, yeah, it's not on here.
Well, it's not
Okay, I mean,
they basically serve until replaced, right? So, I mean,
So they're-
It says 3/22, so is that what's being proposed, or when does the term expire? according to this, the terms expired on March 31.
That's why I want to clean it up.
Oh, okay. Expired in March. There are 5 of them, why are there only 4 listed here? No?
I don't know.
The one not listed is. There's 2 who are here that aren't there, and 1 who's there that's not here. Cameron and Grant are not listed. Ted Pryor, who's not listed as a member, is listed. So did Ted Pryor at some point replace one of these 2? Is that?
He's relatively new, right? Isn't his wife on? I remember there was a.
Do we know, John, how long these people have been on this commission? I mean, I know they're all being re-upped, but have they been there just the 1 term, or have they been there 4 terms, or don't we know?
Well, can it wait till the 28th just so we can all report?
Yeah, let's try and get a little more.
So, I'm counting on you to get it for us.
Yeah. And one other thing I want
Sure.
to bring up, there's a new gentleman that's applied for PNC grant. And PNC is still, he tried once before to get on there. And I was going to call him and speak to him and tell him the openings right now, but maybe I put him on the rather than have him waiting.
Yeah, it also makes sense, and I'm just raising this really in a very broad sense. Ask him whether some other commission or I mean, in other words, there's some value just getting people involved.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's not his first choice, maybe there's, so maybe when you're talking to him, you can raise, you know, we have openings on other things.
Well, I've suggested to the
Mr. First Selectman,
Oh, Chief.
it's good to see you. I'm in town. I hate to interrupt your meeting,
Nice
but
to see you.
I wanted to stop by and say hello and
Nice to
thank
see
you
you.
for all your courtesies.
A pleasure. This is.
I'm Tom Keegan. I'm a former chief of police here.
Oh, nice to see you. This is Sandy Whitman.
How do you do, sir?
Good.
Hey, Barbara.
Nice.
Good to see you.
again.
So I just stopped in to say hello, and I'm here for Sheila's little girl who's graduating from 8th grade. So here I am.
Well, great to see you.
Good to be here.
Great.
I'm sorry if I interrupted anything, but I just wanted to stop and see you all and wish you well. You got a tough job, and I know all about that. Because, well, I got an easy job. I work for a congressman down in South Carolina. So just leave this for you, Pete.
Okay.
If you ever get any federal trouble, give me a call.
Okay.
All right, take care.
South Carolina, it's a nice climate.
It is, it's a great climate, and people ask you, they say, you see somebody on the street, you say, hey, how are you? And they start telling you, well, I got a thing in my neck, my arm hurts. It's great stuff.
Good to see you.
You're well.
No, I was going to say, Sandy, that,
That happens.
I was going to say, Sandy, that Parks and Rec also, we have no, we have 4 people that are looking to get on Parks and Rec. I've asked, and I'm going to ask again on Tuesday, that committee, keep these people in
Yeah.
mind for
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, again, as things come up even on other committees.
Well, they have something that they call the
Great names.
great names list, and I question whether they focus on.
Whether they really ever take any great names.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stress.
Yeah, I understand, I just think that, we hate to discourage people who want it.
Well, he's on the RTM.
Okay, okay, understood.
I think it's,
I didn't see.
What's his name?
Granite, Val.
Okay, so John, you'll get us just on shellfish, so we
Yep, get it.
All right, Sorry. Okay, that concludes discussion on item 6. Number 7 is executive session. We have, I believe, 4 items specifically for for discussion and consideration in one briefing. There are 3 property tax appeals, 1 personal injury claim, and then 1 issue, I believe, related to, I would argue, land use that we need to be briefed on. So if we could have a motion to go into executive session. So second. Okay, with that objection, return to public session after being briefed on 1 personal injury suit and 3 property assessment appeals. And for purposes of resolution, I call upon our board secretary, Ms. Hines, to read the motion.
Yeah,
Motions.
I need a motion to settle the lawsuit of Joanne DeAndrea versus the town of Greenwich for the amount of $15,000.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
In the case of docket number FST CV 16-6029026S, parcel number 10-1649, settle it for a tax credit of approximately $41,332 against future tax payments. If the plaintiffs were to have prevailed at trial, they would have been entitled to a cash refund of approximately $56,974 plus interest and costs.
Is there a motion?
So second.
Without objection.
The case of docket number FST CV 16-6029028S, parcel number 11-1365S, for a tax credit of approximately $5,520 against future tax payments. If the plaintiff were to have prevailed at trial, they would have been entitled to a cash refund of approximately $12,616 plus interest and costs.
So moved.
Without objection. And the final tax settlement, it is docket number HHB CV 17-6039724S, parcel number 10-1594, for a tax credit of approximately $696 against future tax payments. If the plaintiffs were to have prevailed at trial, they would have been entitled to a cash refund of approximately $1,392 plus interest and costs.
So moved.
Without objection. That concludes the business that comes before this board today. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, June 27th at 10 a.m. in this room. We do know that on that agenda, there will be an initial presentation by the Greenwich Housing Authority related to a proposal to add senior living units at the McKinney Terrace development, which is the former Byram School. As is the practice, not the requirement, we've had presentations for municipal improvements at one meeting and then action at the next. I know that's going to be a timely, time-consuming item. And Barbara, there may be something else you're aware of?
The other item that is going to be on the agenda is the Hillside Road Working Group. They will be presenting their final report.
Got it. I knew that. Thank you. So those are 2 items that we are aware of today. The close for the meeting is...
Next Wednesday, the 20th.
Got it. Okay. No further business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Without objection, 11:05.